Today, I thought I'd take out the bridle that I use for silver heels every year. My sailboat, my 42-foot Pearson 424 catch, is on a mooring in Chicago, and this bridle is what keeps it attached to the mooring ball. And the bridle is great. It's only a year old, but you can see that the chafe guards on here are a little ragged, right? Electrical tape and just not looking great. So we're going to clean this up and get rid of the old and put on some new for this bridle so that it keeps its life up through another year. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about my future plans to share that, because we aren't getting any younger. We have a limited amount of time on this earth, and certainly a limited amount of healthy and active time on this earth. I've just turned 58 this month, and I feel the clock ticking. I feel like I need to, take care of doing what I want to accomplish in life, which is a lot more sailing and a lot more seeing the world. So I want to share my plans of how I'm going to potentially facilitate an early retirement as early as this time next year, to get out in the world and travel, and how I'm planning on doing that, because of course you're invited. Step one, sell everything. And that includes this apartment that I'm in. This is a condo. It's the only property at this point that I own. And I do plan on getting this thing completely ready for sale. And one thing that I think needs to get done in here are the floors. I've got cement floors in here, about 1,500 square feet of cement floors. So these floors I'm going to want to refinish, and that should add to the value of this property. I want to make it so that there's nothing a realtor could come in and say that, hey, you really need to take care of this if you want to sell this place. The second item that I think is important is thinking about your total net worth so that you can draw on it for retirement income. And that total amount, I calculate my net worth based on assets minus liabilities, right? So I don't have a lot of debt. I do have a mortgage. So that is part of the reasoning of selling this property, is to get rid of that mortgage, get rid of that debt, and harvest the equity that's in this unit. So to calculate my net worth, I basically take the equity in this condo plus all the money in my stock accounts, my 401k, my IRA, all of that stuff. And, assets minus liabilities. And I look at that total number and I take 5% of that number. And if 5% of that number is enough of an income that I feel could support me in a minimalistic way in early retirement, then that's a go. And I feel like I'm about there. I'm feeling like I've got a number that would support me to a large extent, at least in a minimalistic way, to go into an early retirement. And again, the idea is, we only live on Earth a certain amount of time, and the number of days that I have left in this life of active and healthy lifestyle are numbered. So I'm really eager to try to do what I really love, which is sailing, getting out and sailing. So the third consideration is healthcare. And I'll say up front that I've probably not put enough thought into healthcare as I should. But it is absolutely worthy of strong consideration, because, anything can happen when you're out overseas traveling or in your retirement years. Older we get, the more possibility exists that there's going to be some sort of issue with your health care. And it could be significant, cancer, something along those lines. I've already beat prostate cancer, so that's not to say it couldn't come back. So we've got to be careful and be prepared for unforeseen health care expenses. I've contributed a significant amount into an HSA account, so I feel good about that. I also know that there are, I follow these expat channels, and I'm pretty certain that there's high quality healthcare out there in the world that it costs a lot less than what we see in the United States. So there's a piece of me, I've seen a lot of expats out there that say just pay out of pocket in a place like Thailand or something along those lines. Places in Europe, Montenegro, for example, is a place I've looked at as a potential place to visit. There's also, from my understanding, these bridge policies out there that allow you to, pay out of pocket for smaller items, but for any major item, you're still covered to come back to the U.S. and get a major procedure done. Anyway, it is definitely something that I'm going to have locked down, a firm understanding of before I pull the trigger on an potential early retirement. So the fourth consideration I'm looking at for potentially taking that next step is, what other income streams can I develop or maintain in taking that next step and moving in the direction of more freedom. And I'll say that, because I'm focused on something involving more sailing, I've started taking some certifications from ABYC, the American Boat and Yacht Council. And I've got my standard certification. Currently working on my certification for electrical. I think there's 2 levels, so I'm looking at the basic or first level of electrical boat maintenance, and then maybe perhaps I'll take the advanced. But there's a lot of other intriguing certifications offered by ABYC. And those certifications, you could potentially leverage to be a number of things. You could work in a boatyard with those. You could become a surveyor with that, which is for benefit of insurance, or if you want to buy or sell a boat, survey is necessary. Also, those ABYC certifications qualify you for chartering jobs. You could work at a chartering outfit because you understand all the ins and outs of how a boat is maintained and how it's designed and the standards thereof to keep it in good, safe working order. So the ABYC certifications are definitely one area that I am pursuing to potentially create more income. Another one is going to be YouTube, right? So the income from YouTube right now is, not very significant. But I feel like if I were to start traveling the world and exploring sailing around the world, perhaps more would follow that journey, and it would be more watchable for many of you. So I feel like that is a potential source of income down the road. Certainly, we're going to want to continue to increase our sailing skills. The potential of becoming a licensed captain is also in my future. Probably the main idea, the thing that I think could be a great bridge toward this freedom is going to be continuing to work remotely from my current employer. I work at a financial firm, and we are currently engaged in off-hours trading, or trading during Asian hours and European hours. Well, right now it's European hours, and we're looking at the possibility of expanding into Asian hours down the road. So the idea here is going to be, for me right now, I do have a pretty senior position in the firm. I currently manage a team, and I feel like I'd do well to give up that role and instead just work a European shift or an Asian shift, or maybe both, combined, do Europe for 6 months and then Asia for another 6 months, or maybe Europe for a year and then Asia for 6 months, with the idea of working that all remotely. So actually travel through Europe or Asia as needed where both the firm and I benefit. And I have a list of countries that I would like to visit in that sort of situation. The plan would be to basically visit a country a month and do some YouTube videos in that country for you all, and learn about the sailing community in that country. Try to get on a sailboat during that time. Learn about the yacht club, the local yacht club, the community in general, how the infrastructure is in the ports and harbors. Share that with you, and go through country by country for up to 18 months or so, learning about the infrastructure all over the world. I think that'd be very intriguing.
Hey, Kirsten.
Hey, Eric.
What do you think about this idea of decreasing our footprint in the United States and potentially working our way to retire and live overseas?
I'm excited about it.
Yeah?
All on board.
You got friends that live overseas?
I have, yeah, I have the friends that live overseas. We haven't talked about that too much.
No?
So actually, some very close friends overseas that I miss an awful lot.
There are U.S. citizens that live overseas, or
U.S. citizens, like expats that have moved over
Yeah.
for various reasons, for work and relationships.
I've got this plan initially to potentially go from country to country 1 month at a time and explore different places that could potentially work out for us. And can you see us visiting each other and making that work in the short term?
Yeah, oh, I am excited because you can do 2 years, you said 24 countries, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then my thought is like when you do those transitions between countries,
Yeah.
then I will just come visit. So that gives me, and I can see all the countries you're visiting with you, just kind of like 6 times a year.
This isn't a relationship. We basically met in July of last year, and we have been together for about 9 months. We've been living together an awful lot of that time, and we just kind of like fell head over heels, right? And this relationship is really working out. We have the same kind of vision, which is great. You're working on a PhD right now, right? And trying to get yourself in a position where you can be more flexible.
Yeah, so I'll be done with my PhD in like 3 years. And at that point, with a PhD, I'll be able to get a visa to work overseas a lot easier. So that's one of my goals. The other thing is I'm like you, I kind of want to wind down my career a little bit. I don't think I want to stop working. Financially, I think it'd be better for me to keep working a little bit, but I also really like working.
Yep.
As long as it's not at the same intensity that I've been in. So I think with the PhD, get a visa, wind down a little bit, then I think that's going to be the best of both worlds. I'll be with you.
Yeah.
And then also kind of continue the work that I love to
do. I could potentially conduct an early retirement and completely disassociate myself with my current employment, which would be a little higher cost, but man, wouldn't it be nice to take Silverheels out the St. Lawrence Seaway and then across the Atlantic? That has been really a goal. And I should say this, is that, we sailors, we're great at making plans, right? And hats off for those sailors out there that have been able to achieve to actually go out and sail the world. My hat's off to you. I've been really struggling to make that work in my life. I've been working on Silverheels now for 6 years. I bought her 6 years ago with the idea of potentially sailing around the world. And boy, it's a lot of work. Owning a boat, it's a lot of work. But one scenario I see is potentially taking Silverheels out. That was the original goal, was to take Silverheels out and sail the world. And I haven't been able to accomplish that as of yet. And I'm at the point now in my life where I'm thinking Silverheels is a 42-foot, very heavy draft boat, right? She's 23,000 pounds. Love it. She performs extremely well in bad weather. But it's also a struggle to single hand, right? I very rarely single hand that boat. It's more of a double hand minimum, and triple hand, three crew is really a good fit on that boat. So as much as I'd like to take her out into the St. Lawrence Seaway and out into the Atlantic, I also think that has its set of challenges as well. Whereas the the scenario of just going out selling silver heels and slow traveling for a couple of years, finding the next location definitely has some appeal of being an easier path toward that next phase of lifestyle. I do have other possibilities too. I know somebody that right now is working on a schooner. That person may need crew to pursue their dreams, and their dreams are intriguing. So, you know, you never know how things are gonna pan out. So that's generally my broad outline plan for retiring early, leaving the rat race, and getting more sailing in my life. Doing really what I want to do, as opposed to pursuing a career and trying to increase compensation and keep being a part of this kind of rat race, this treadmill. You know, our lives are just too short. And if you count the number of days you have on this earth, you know, at 58, the number of healthy and active days left, that's a premium. You got to really pay attention to those days and figure out how you can maximize that. At least I think that way. And I call it a retirement, but it's basically just redefining how I look at work. So if I'm still working for somebody, it's not really a retirement, is it? But it is, in my mind, crossing the Rubicon from trying to continually progress in compensation and responsibility, and instead actually decreasing responsibility, decreasing stress, putting a much higher premium on the quality of life. So I want to thank my subscribers. I really appreciate your support. If you have watched this video till the end, please consider hitting that like button. It really helps the channel grow. This is Sailor Eric. Thanks for watching.